This is a total production. Alright everybody, welcome back. Looking at chapter 6, so the first set of practice I figured would be naming. So looking at alkyne naming, technically some of these I did throw in the alkenes again, because one thing you need to understand is assigning priority to a double versus a triple bond. So when we look at our structure here, we have branches, we have an alkene, we have an alkyne. So the easiest thing to recognize in this one is that, well, what happens first? And technically, the first thing that happens if we go that way is the alkyne. The first thing that happens if we go this way is both the branch and the alkene. So this would automatically have to be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can pick either one as 5. Alright, so from there that means I have a pentene to pentine type deal. So what we're looking at here is that we have a methyl group at 4. So I'll put the 4-methyl. We also have a 1-pentine. And we also have a 3-ene, right? And that's all a part of the pent, right? So when we throw all this together, we should throw it together like this, in alphabetical order when it comes to these guys. So it would be 4-methyl, right? Pent, right? And so I would put 3-en, don't put the E at the end, okay? And 1-ine. Oop, I forgot my dash. Alright, so okay, I'll start it. Go ahead. Alright, 1-ine. So that's how we would name this. Now, the second one's a little trickier in that when we number, we get our first thing at carbon number 2 from this side. When we number, we get our first thing at carbon number 2 from this side. So here's where we have to understand which one takes higher priority. The assumption I make is that it's alphabetical. That's not necessarily true if you talk about other functional groups, but the double bond takes higher priority. So since both of them happen at carbon number 2, depending on which side we number from, I'm going to number this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, and that is the only correct way to do that for this molecule. Alright, because double bonds take priority over triple. Alright, so in that case, that means we have hex 2-ene and then 4-ine. Alright, and that's how we would name that. Alright, next up, the easiest way to name this using the IUPAC name would be to use this as our parent. And so what we have here is a double bond and a double bond. So we actually have a diene situation here. So those two are that makes it a diene. Now with that, it is a cyclohexadiene. And when we go to number, I'm going to want carbon number 1 here, because that's my first. That's both where a branch occurs, but that's also where one of my double bonds starts. So I'm going to have like this. This isn't an ethyl group. It's an ethyl group with a triple bond. So this is called an ethynyl group. All right, that's what that's called. So this would be called 1, 2, 3, 4. So it would be 1-ethynyl cyclohexa, and then it should be 1,3, right? Because it's the first carbon, but you have to number through it. So 1,3-diene, 1,3-diene. Alright, our next one here, what we have is both a ring, but we also have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-membered chain. So remember the convention I told you guys when naming, count the number of carbons that are in it. So 4 versus 5, our 5-member chain is the best thing in terms of being our parent. So I would start numbering here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a pentyne, right, and it's at 1. So, and then also this is connected to carbon number 1, this 4-membered ring. So we would call this a cyclobutyl group. So we would name this as 1 cyclobutyl pent 1-ine, right? Technically this one could have went in front of pent, or I just like to put the number with the functional group I'm talking about, like, because for these two up here it was necessary to actually put the number in the middle of it, not at the beginning of hex or in front of pent here. But anyway, you could have done it either way for this one. I just prefer this way because it's consistent. Alright, next up we would look at this guy. So this only has a triple bond. So we are looking at an alkyne, so the YNE ending. Now for this, let me move it up a little bit. Now for this, let's see, we get 1, 2, 3, 4 if we number this way, or we get 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I would say your best bet is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. So this is a hexyne, and you have 2 methyl groups. So you have dimethyl. You got the 1, 5, 1, 4. Wait, did I miss number? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. This is 6, and that's 7. Y'all, I misnumbered. That's what I get for not making an answer key first. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3. So I get a 2, 5 dimethyl. 2, 5 dimethyl, and it's a 7 carbon chain, so that would be a hept with a T, hept 3 ine, like so. Alright, and then also looking here, we've got another one, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, and you would actually start numbering here because of your branch. So it's a branch. Would it be 1, 2 this way, or would it be 1, 2 that way? Well, your functional groups take priority over a branch, an alkyl branch. So we're actually not going to number that way. We're going to number this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have a 6 carbon chain, and then we again have 2 methyls. So this is a 4, 5 dimethyl. So 4, 5 dimethyl, and then what do we got here? We've got hex 2 ine, like that. All right. And there was one other thing I just thought of that I missed. If I go back up for a second, this right here, double bonds. Remember, you got to worry about stereochemistry. So for this double bond, these two groups, this group and this group, are on opposite sides of the double bond. Right. If I turn it like this. Right, this group's on the top, this group's on the bottom. So you also have to worry about cis trans or EZ. So there's 2 ways you could have done this. You could name this as either E or trans, right? And I'm gonna put or E. Okay, either one of those in front of hex 2 ene 4 ine would work. All right, so that kind of covers our naming. See you for the next chapter 6 video.